Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. I am Krishna Rose. I also go by the name of Krishna Vallabha, which is a Vaishnav initiated name that was given to me by my guru, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. And I was most fortunate to have met Gurudeva in 1995. And to have traveled with him and lived with him amongst his brethren, amongst his close family of disciples. And I learned and was given immense grace in my heart by my teacher at the moment of my initiation. And I just wanted to share with you a few stories that I remember of being around this great Holy Master, who for me was like, it was an experience that would remind one of perhaps walking beside or behind Jesus Christ. It's the only way that I could describe just how incredibly ecstatic and holy the whole experience was. It was profoundly life transforming, being around a pure saint who came from the kingdom to this world to save souls. I got in the rickshaw and I went to Gurudeva's temple for the first time. And when I walked in, I crossed the threshold from the street into his holy temple. Immediately, I felt a profound sweetness in the air that I had never felt before. So I knew someone or something very special was happening in this amazing temple. So I walked up the stairs and Gurudeva was standing in the middle of the courtyard, and I had maybe like 5 or 6 friends with me that I had made in Vrindavan. And he pointed to me and he said, "You, come here." So I rushed over to him, my first time ever meeting him, and instantly fell to the floor. I bowed to his feet, knowing I had found my holy master that I had been searching for so many years. He, looking up from the ground into his eyes, his big, beautiful blue eyes, he said, "Who are you and where have you come from?" I said, "My name is Anita. I'm from England and I'm the girl who's been writing to you." And I had been writing back and forth letters with Gurudeva since 1993, whilst I was living in the ISKCON temple, Soho Street, London. And he said, "Where have you been? I've been waiting for you for so long." So in that moment, I knew this is it. I found my place in life now. He instantly gave me a room in his temple downstairs on the ground floor. And I was so blessed to have lived with Gurudeva in this temple and got to experience Mangalarti at 4 a.m. in the morning, meditation, chanting with the ladies. And really, I think until the moment that I chanted within this temple, I don't think that I really truly understood how deep bhajan and chanting is or could be. I had always chanted sort of distractedly with love. So here was a holy master who was training his disciples to not only cover their heads, but pull their veils down over their faces whilst they were praying, so that they wouldn't be distracted by their eyes, by their senses, by the mind, that they could utilize the mind to truly reach for the kingdom using the phone number of God's holy names, which gives one an instant connect to divinity. And we call God by his name, but we can't see him, but he does come. And the reason we can't see him is because we are conditioned to enjoy through the flesh everything in this world. So in order to die to live, which is something that Christ spoke of, and all of the saints in every lineage, they speak of dying to live. It doesn't actually mean that we physically die. It means that we die to the ego. We give up the ego in favor of experiences that bring us closer to God. And one cannot approach the innocence of God with an ego, because when one stands before divinity, one is truly awestruck, breathless, unable to speak, stunned. One is so enraptured by the beauty of God that no words could ever possibly describe the glory of what one can see. Having said all of this, I was very fortunate to have traveled with my Gurudeva for a period of time, and he gave me enormous grace in my heart. He told me many times, I've given you everything that you need, now go away and realize it. He was so magnanimous that many times I saw how he would always be thinking of how to liberate any living soul from their suffering. For example, we went to the Sequoia National Forest in Badger for the first time in 1996 with him, and it was his first trip out of India coming to the West, and we were walking around this massive forest with trees that were 5,000 years old. So Gurudeva was quite grave, and he was chanting gravely, and we were all following him around the pathway. And then we came to a fallen tree, and it was hollowed out. And he said, come with me, we're going to enter into the mouth of Aghasura. He was so playful and charming and funny. And he just knew exactly what to say to each person that he met, that just captured the heart in 1 second. This ability comes from God. It doesn't come from anywhere else. From a person who comes from the kingdom, they have this ability to capture the heart. And he would tell people, I have caught your heart and I have put it in my pocket and I will keep you there forever. And it was just the sweetest phrase that he would use. He also used a phrase where he said, I'm stringing a garland of hearts and all of you are on it. And I'm going to offer this garland to Srimati Radhike, to Radhe, the goddess, the supreme goddess. Just so sweet to be spoken to like this by someone who truly cared. So walking around this forest, as we came out, Gurudeva again became very grave, and we stopped by the van to talk for a little bit with a Sikh who had just come to the park for a walk, and he went and greeted him, gave him mercy and blessings. And Gurudev said, these trees have been standing here for 5,000 years. They are suffering so much and they want relief from their suffering, and I was feeling so sad for them for 5,000 years to be stuck in a tree body. I go in the forest, I see the twinkling of the light on the leaves, and I think, oh, how beautiful, oh, how ancient this tree is. Let me hold the tree, let me hug the tree, let me leave offerings for the tree. Look at how the tree is giving us fresh air, all of these things. But here, my Gurudev was showing what it is to be a liberated soul, that they don't see the illusion of things, they see the truth of things, and that includes with us and with all living beings. So he said, I was chanting for all of these trees to be liberated, and then sure enough, very soon a wildfire came and these trees were liberated, and it just astounded me. We had another experience like this when we were in Maui with him, and we were invited to go on a boat ride with him. He wanted to go and see the whales and dolphins. So a small group of us went on this boat with him, and it was just utterly profound. He said, all of you are coming with me, and I am the captain of this ship, and we are crossing over the ocean of material nescience, and I'm taking you all with me. And even those over there on the shore who are so far away and don't see me, because I am seeing them, I am taking them with me too. And there were people literally who looked like dots on the landscape, you know, over on the shore. And he was talking about these people that just, even though they can't see him, he sees them and he's going to take them with him. And this is the vision of a holy master. Jesus was a lot like this too. The magnanimous compassion oozed out of every inch of his being. Everywhere he would go, he would see the suffering of people and he would speak to it. He would heal it. He would pray to it. He would pray for people and help people, give them true guidance. And my Gurudeva was just like this. So I just wanted to share a few of these things because today is his disappearance day, the memory of the time that he left this world and left me bereft of a spiritual father. And I say that in one way, and yet in another way, he's been so incredibly kind to me because he's taught me that love in separation is the bee's nest of the hive of true devotion, is to love God within the chapel of one's own mind and one's own heart, that one doesn't need buildings to worship in. He told me, just because somebody wears tilak and kantimala, don't presume that they are a devotee, a Vaishnav. So he showed me that there are many wolves in sheep's clothing, as has now been revealed over time, that we saw so many false gurus, false leaders take positions within the religion and misguide their disciples and the sincere souls who were coming. The search for a pure guru is essential. If one truly wishes to enter into the kingdom, one must have a holy master who is from that kingdom. Because the Sabda Brahma, the sound vibration of holy name that comes from the lips of somebody who is eternally in the kingdom, has a profound effect on the heart. How? From that moment on, as an initiated disciple of such a saint, one's sadhana practices, one's holy practices become an experience, an awakening, a flowering, a blossoming of one's eternal personality. If we truly wish to think like eternal spirit souls living within the kingdom, which is what it takes to enter into that world, we don't do it when we die, we do it while we live. We're meant to use this flesh to leave the ego of the flesh and transcend it through spiritual practices, through praying. We are in a religion of divine love, and divine love is an experience. Bhakti is an experience. It is not an external thing. It has nothing to do with what you're wearing or what your hair looks like or whether you wear makeup or not. But I want to be authentic to myself. I don't need to conform externally. I need to conform internally. Who am I when I'm standing before God? This is the most important question for any devotee of any faith to consider. Who are we when we're standing in front of the divine? We should not be fooled by robes, or positions of power, titles, names, leaders. We should not be enamored by these false gods. We should see them for who they truly are and work very hard on becoming pure devotees ourselves so that we can truly represent this path of divine love for others. That takes practice, it takes dedication, it takes yearning, and it takes tears. Lots and lots of tears. In fact, the more tears, the better. My Gurudeva said, your tears are worth thousands of lakhs of Harinam. That means that Like one tear is worth more than chanting for hours and hours and hours in a day. One tear is worth more than chanting for hours and hours and hours in a day. This mood of separation and yearning when it becomes water down the cheek is very powerful. It cleans the heart, it moves the heart, and it moves the Lord to pay attention. And the entire Guru Parampara, when we pray like this, they come to us to bless us, to help us to go forward, to follow with eagerness upon this flower-like path that